So they should be all excited about going to the Barbie movie together today. Bert Show Barbie Squad all go together today.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Yeah.
Abby and Rebecca and Cassie and Kristen are all dressing up in pink.
And Katie.
And
Sarah. And Amanda.
Damn, you guys got them all.
We do.
All right, the whole squad going today. So it should be a really, really fun day. But with full disclosure, Abby and Cassie are having some anxiety about going to the movies today.
I am not, because I'm on drugs.
Save that.
It's been, I haven't been to a movie theater to see a movie since my kids were born. So we're coming up on 4 years. And it's just different things. It was the pandemic. It was having newborns, like this and that, and not having a sitter, which, by the way, thank you. Kristen's coming to babysit in August. So my husband and I can have our first date since the kids were born. But I have developed a fear around public settings. And I think I can acknowledge that a lot of this is fueled by what I consume on TV and social media. Kind of feels like when I open my social media feeds nonstop.
Doom and gloom.
Doom and gloom, but it's always like, and trigger warning, I'm going to talk about gun violence here. It's always like a shooting at a strip mall, a shooting here, 4th of July parade, shooting, and it's places where people are supposed to be going to have fun or just do their daily activities, shooting at the mall down the street, like shooting at the mall by my house. I've gotten a shooter on the loose around my neighborhood. And I'm just gotten to a point where I have developed, instead of, I still believe the best in people, but now I think every person I don't know is a threat because I don't feel safe going out anymore. And that is amplified in crowds or settings where I can't have an exit easily. So things like a movie theater, for instance. And then, of course, because I'm dramatic and I've always had an overactive imagination, I start not plotting, but I like imagining headlines if something were to happen. And I'm like, oh, that would be a big splash. Somebody would do that today. And it has stopped me from doing a lot of things because I have this inherent fear. Like, I really wanted to go see Taylor Swift. I wouldn't do it because I had a fear that somebody was going to go all mad like they did at the Ariana Grande concert a few years back. And that's not fair. And I think, Bert, you always say that would be letting the terrorists win because I think these people are terrorists. But at the same time, I think the stakes are higher for me now than they were in my life before because I have 2 kids.
Sure.
And I really want to be around long term and I want to protect them. So it gives me anxiety to go to the movies.
Yeah, I'm not dismissing the way you feel. You feel the way you feel. I do have that attitude that I got to go live my life and be free. And I also say to myself that, and I have to believe this, you and I were just having a conversation about this off the air, that I had to literally stop reading the news yesterday because I could feel like my mood changing and I was getting super, super bummed. For every one of those things that happens, and as tragic as it is and how much it really does taint your view on the world, the news isn't there to report on these 7 million movies that were played and nothing happened at all. They went into the movie theater, they got their popcorn, they went in, they watched their movie, and they got out. So I am constantly telling myself that it is a sliver of the population that are real idiots. And the second thing is, and this is going to sound real corny. At some point or another, I really realized this is all in God's hands. That if I'm supposed to be in a movie theater and this is supposed to happen, I have no control over it whatsoever, and it has really unlocked my freedom to walk with freedom. It's not in my hands.
It's so I love that perspective, and it's so interesting. And this probably speaks volumes. I'm sure some therapists could tell me a lot about it, but for me, it would be like, you're punished for being dumb. You knew better than to be in that movie theater. You knew that wasn't a good idea. You should have stayed home. And that's how I just have started operating in my life with an overabundance of caution, and it's exhausting. It really is.
Sure.
I'm very risk averse, and I never used to be that way. I used to do the stupidest stuff.
Really?
It was so stupid. Yeah. And then it was really the kids, having kids. I think the fact that they're in my life, but I think it also, I know it triggered OCD for me, intrusive thoughts, and I think it just changed my chemical makeup in some way, but now it's high anxiety. So like, honestly, when Kristen sent the invite to the movie, I almost immediately declined because I was like, I'm not going to a movie theater. And then I was like, it's okay to live life. It's okay to do fun things and be free. But in the back of my head, I still have this anxiety that, I need to check for the exits when I get in there and need to make sure, like, I literally will have a plan. I've already started formulating the plan of what would happen. Kristen's going to be my body shield. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But of what would happen. And I know, like, people listening to this are probably rolling their eyes because, like, that's just not going to happen. And I agree with you. But then I think back to victims in the past who probably thought the same thing. And I'm like, I'm not special.
Abby, what's your anxiety?
So I have the exact same anxiety. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I grew up with the generations where school shootings started to become very, very prominent in the news. And so I have that same fear of, like, if I'm trapped in a movie theater, or for a while I had a lot of bad plane anxiety because there's nothing you can do if you're on a plane. Mm-hmm. And when I was leaving, again, the Taylor Swift concert, both times it's these massive crowds where you can't go anywhere. And so if somebody just pulled out a gun, like, you're screwed. And so I'm with you, Cassie. I know my mom's listening to me talk right now and rolling her eyes, but it's an anxiety thing. And when it's a valid fear, because it does happen to people, it has happened, it's hard to get around.
So I'm curious because, like, you're more likely to get hurt in the car on the drive to the theater than the actual theater. So do you panic every time you get in a car?
No, but I also know that's not likely to end in death. Like, there's a difference. There's a difference between getting hurt and getting killed. And I'm afraid of getting killed. I don't want to die.
More people die in auto accidents than mass shootings.
But I have control over that situation to some degree. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm in control of the car. I'm driving the car. And that may happen. And that is when I'm like, you got to let go, like God. Like, I've got to be on the road. Movies, that's an optional thing. If someone walks in with a bang bang, I don't have one of those. I feel like trapped prey versus being able to have some modicum of control.
I just still don't. Even with all of the violence that happens in our country, and it bums me out every day. I still don't view a movie theater or a concert as a place that's risky.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and the thought didn't even cross my mind. And even you guys talking about it, it's not like permeating me. It's not like making me fearful to go to the theater today. But again, I'm on drugs.
and I think, again, it's colored by the social media I consume and the undercurrent of anger that I see going on in the country. So I just saw a video of a guy slapping a fast food worker for whatever the order was wrong. There was no weapon involved, but people are angry and on edge. And then because I am on social networks, like, that is what I'm constantly consuming.
There was a viral video yesterday, speaking of movie theaters, of a guy that bought VIP seats at a movie theater out in, I believe it was California. Old dude, 63 years old, right? And he's sitting in, he gets there and there's a couple already in his seats. And he's like, hey, these are my seats. I paid for them. This dude pummeled the 63-year-old, pummeled him, threw him out of the aisle. It wouldn't stop until everybody jumped on this guy. Luckily, they got a really good shot at it. But I agree with your anger thing. This country is pinging. You just never know. But still then, when you look at the statistics, man, how many people went to a movie yesterday and didn't get shoved, nothing happened whatsoever. The odds are so slim, but that's still, I don't want to dismiss the way you're feeling.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. They are slim, but I think when Abby, too, is talking about the anxiety, which I have, I think when you combine the two, it creates this, like, maelstrom, almost this perfect storm of, I need to take this absolutely seriously versus being able to rationally step back and be like, it is such a slim chance. So I had been putting it off, but maybe it is time to get on the drugs.
At least for the day.
This conversation, I was like, no, I'm good. I'm feeling better. This conversation, I think, has opened my eyes.
The Bert Show.
So first, thanks for watching. Second, you like what you just watched? That just scratches the surface. Get The Bert Show on any podcast platform. We're so good.